Hello, hi, good morning. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Venkatesh.
Okay. So let us start today's session quickly. Let me share my screen. Okay. So today we will be covering a topic of an automatic account determination. So give me a second. So today's topic will be automatic account determination. We call it as AAD. Okay. So this will be the important topic for MM because from today, all the topics what we were discussing will be integrating with the other modules. So till now we have covered the enterprise structure, we have covered the master data, we have seen the P2P cycle, release procedure, service PO, and the output POs, and the output management also. So in all these topics, we did not touch any other module. We only discussed regarding the MM module. So from today, we will be starting with the main topics which are going to integrate with other modules. For example, if I take this topic, automatic account determination, this is going to be integrated with FI, which is the finance. So that is the reason we call this automatic account determination as the MMFI integration. So when I say MMFI integration, and when I say these topics are related to the integration with other modules, so not only MM people are going to work on this topic, there is also the other people from other modules are going to work on these topics. Okay. So here in this automatic account determination, we will be seeing how the transactions or MM are getting updated with the help of finance, and how finance and MM people are going to work together and see how they are going to get the transaction happen. So coming to the topic, automatic account determination, what is this topic? How are we going to map this, or how are we going to work with finance with this? So we have certain steps which we need to take care. First, before that, first let us understand two important terminologies. One is the transaction and one is a GL account. So what is transaction and what is GL account? Okay, first thing, the transaction. The transaction is nothing but whenever you're doing one purchase or sell, whenever we are doing a transaction, purchase or sell, that input or output is called as a transaction. Then coming to this GL account, whenever we do some transaction, whenever we are buying or selling, to which account the amount should fall. For example, you're buying something from Amazon and you need to pay Amazon. Amazon will ask you from which account are you going to pay. Or whenever you are going to return something in Amazon, so Amazon will ask for to which account you want the refund. You need for the Amazon Pay or you need for the bank account. So transaction is nothing but buying or selling. Okay, and a GL account is nothing but a bank account. For example, as of now, take as a bank account. The full form of GL account is the general ledger account. Okay, so now here when I say I'm doing a transaction, I'm buying or selling. When I'm buying and selling, I need to pay the amount to the bank account. So this transaction and GL account are interlinked. Okay, so based on that, GL account is indirectly linked to the transaction. Now, whenever you're doing a purchase on Amazon, so you want to do a payment through a bank account, you enter the bank account details, and you will not be able to do the payment directly. So you will be directed to the other website, or you need to go to your bank website, enter your username and password, then put the OTP and pay. You will not be able to put your username and password in Amazon app. Your bank account username password, I meant. So you cannot directly link your bank account with your transactions. So the GL accounts are linked with transactions indirectly. The same goes with the SAP. When you're doing some transaction, when you're doing buying or selling in SAP, or whenever you want to pay vendor or you want to get the money from customers, you cannot get the money directly into the GL account directly. So you need some mediator. So the mediator between transaction and the GL account is a valuation class. The mediator, the first mediator, there are two, three mediators in this MMFI integration. To link, I'm writing here to link GL account with the transaction. I have the mediator called the valuation class. So this word you would have seen when you create the material master. When you're creating a material master in the accounting view, as of now, you are just filling the dummy valuation class. Okay, so when you enter the valuation class in your material master, you are telling system that this is the valuation class which I'm going to assign to this material. And this valuation class is indirectly assigned to your bank account in the backend. So whenever the valuation class is assigned to your GL account in the backend indirectly, you have the GL account, sorry, you have a valuation class in your material master. And when you purchase that material, system should identify to which GL account it should flow. Because you're telling that for this material, this is a GL account indirectly with the help of the valuation class. Okay, any question here? Because this is a very important part here. In Material Master, you will have the valuation class in the accounting view. For each and every material, you can have different valuation class. Each and every valuation class can have one account. So you're telling material that whenever I'm purchasing this material, this account should directly come and hit. Every time you cannot tell system that I need to, when I'm buying this material, I need to pay from this account. Whenever I'm selling this material, I want to get the money from for this account. So that is the reason you are going to create this automatic account determination. The name itself tells it is going to automatically determine the account from where? From the valuation class in the material master. Okay, this is very important. Let me know if it is clear here, then I'll move forward. Okay.
Good morning, Venkatesh. Valuation class is OPEX or CAPEX, like such categories?
Yes, we have OPEX and CAPEX. I'll discuss that later on.
Okay.
As of now, just understand GL account is nothing but your bank account. We will explore more about GL account going forward. Now coming to the second part. When I say valuation class, how are we going to get this valuation class? So in the system, we have some terminologies which we need to understand first for that again. So the first thing is valuation grouping code. And second thing is account category reference. Third one is the valuation class. To create valuation class and assign to your material master, these are the important 3 steps. Because you don't have option to assign your valuation class directly to your material type. So here also you need a mediator. So I'll take that. So these are the steps, as I mentioned. Today we will be discussing regarding valuation grouping code, how account category reference is used, how the valuation class is used. First is the valuation grouping code. The valuation grouping code is used to combine your plans. Now, for example, you have multiple plants, and for each and every plant, you are going to have the same material. When I say plant, take an example of any industry. You have material, and you are going to sell that material from different plants, or you are also going to purchase that material from for different plants. When you're purchasing a single material M1 from different plants, or you're selling it from different plants, in that case, do you want the same account to hit or you want a different account to hit? For example, because I also need to speak regarding in spite of finance here. So one company is in India and one plant is in Bangalore, one plant is in Delhi, one plant is in Mumbai. 3 plants are in 3 different states. Now, I'm creating the materials in system. For each and every plant, I need to create individually because material is a plant specific. Material can be created only under the plant code. Now, when the plant code is getting changed or the location is getting changed, I need to extend the material to the different plant. One material can be created for multiple plants with the same number. Now, when I'm creating this, the question is, whenever I'm purchasing the material, should I pay the money from the same account or different account? Because the state is getting changed. That is business call. If they want to pay the vendor in a single account for all the plants, then the valuation grouping code needs to be activated. So valuation grouping code will have the combination of your plant plus the company code plus the valuation plus your chart of accounts. Okay, this chart of accounts is a finance terminology. Each company code can be assigned to a single chart of accounts. So chart of accounts is not basically finance terminology. It can group the accounts. So how it can have is different GL accounts can be grouped into one chart of accounts. So saying that these GL accounts are a part of this company code. Okay, so you don't want to create this. Whenever you are going to create a plant, this combination will automatically get created. Okay, you can just decide if you want to pay from same account or if you want to pay from different account. Okay, so we could have a raw material, we could have spare parts, finished material, semi-finished material, trading materials. So all these are different kinds of material. Now, each material or each type of material has stock in system. The stock is also called as the inventory in system. So when you say raw material, I am saying that, for example, material M1, I am purchasing 50 pieces and 50 pieces stock are getting added in this warehouse. And now from which account do I need to pay? That gets decided based on your valuation class, as I discussed earlier. So your valuation class will have a GL account assigned. Okay. Now valuation grouping code will tell you whenever I'm purchasing the material from different plant, will I be paying from different account or single account? If you activate this, then single account. If you don't activate this, then multiple accounts. That is a use of group valuation grouping code. Okay. Any questions here regarding valuation grouping code? No questions? Okay. Now let me take a live example how we are going to purchase the material and store it in the inventory with the valuation. So let me take the same example which I took earlier now. So let me take, I have a raw material. The raw material number will be 1, 2, 3, 4, for example. Okay. This material, I'm procuring 50 pieces. When I purchase this 50 pieces from vendor, this 50 pieces is going to be in stock now. When I say stock, it is also called as inventory. Inventory is nothing but a stock. Okay. Now, if this stock and the material is valuable, so because I'm buying this material, so when I'm storing this material in the warehouse, this material has some value. So I'll also have the value of this 50 pieces, which is known as the stock value. So when you're doing some business, so you will buy the material and keep it in a godown. So that material will have the value because you give money and you're getting the material. So that is called as a stock valuable material. Okay. So now you have 50 pieces. I brought 50 pieces and this has a stock value of each piece. Let me tell that for each piece, it is 20 rupees. Then the stock value of 50 pieces is 1000 rupees. Okay, now keeping this in mind, this inventory value or the stock value is updated in the financial account. So whenever you are going to write your financial entries, you will start thinking that I had 10,000 in my pocket morning. I went to market. I purchased 50 pieces of the raw material, which is costing 20 rupees each. That costed me 1000 rupees. Now I have 9,000 with me. Then when is your 1000 rupees? Your 1000 rupees is converted to your inventory. So whenever we do a goods receipt or whenever we do a purchase order creation and we are doing a goods receipt in, if you have observed, there are some documents getting created. One is your material document and one is your accounting document. You would have seen the material document directly. So whenever you post a goods receipt, the GR number is your material document. But the accounting document is getting generated in the backend. We can also see that, but we have not explored that, so we have not seen till now. So when you do a purchase from anything, from any vendor, and you're taking the goods into your warehouse, we are posting the goods receipt. When we post a goods receipt, the material document is getting generated. In the backend, the accounting documents also getting generated. Okay, now when the material document is getting generated, the stock is getting updated. You are posting your GR to raise or increase your stock or decrease your stock. Accounting document is getting posted to adjust your value. So this is very, very important. Stock is a part of MM, value is a part of FI. When you post goods receipt, there are two documents getting generated. One document is for stock, where your stock is getting updated in your warehouse. And one document is for value, where the amount is getting adjusted. If you're buying 1000 rupees of stock, you need to pay 1000 rupees. If you're increasing your stock for 10 pieces, 50 pieces, you are giving 1000 rupees of amount to your vendor. So material document will increase your stock, accounting document will decrease your amount. Okay, so how this accounting document is getting generated? This accounting document is getting generated by its own, depending on this configuration, which is called as automatic account determination. That means every time when you are raising the stock, increasing the stock, or decreasing the stock, the accounting document will get generated. The relevant GL account are also getting updated. That is getting updated based on the valuation class what you have in your material master. Here, the valuation class plays very, very important role here. So for each and every material, as I mentioned, you can have different valuation class. Based on the different valuation class, you can have different GL account in your backend system. So whenever you purchase that particular material, this valuation class will come and hit and tell that from this account you need to pay the vendor. From this account you need to load the stock. For stock, you can have one GL account. For value, you can have one GL account. One valuation class can have multiple GL accounts with the help of another mediator, which is called as transaction key. So initially I mentioned that one material, this is very important, the one material can have one valuation class. That is the standard. Okay, one material can have only one valuation class, but one valuation class can have one GL account. In case if one valuation class should have multiple GL account, then we need a mediator. The mediator is the transaction key. This transaction key will help us to tell what type of transaction are we doing. Are we buying? Are we selling? So when you're buying, I said that there are two entries getting affected. One is the stock, one is the value. How are we going to differentiate the stock and value? The stock and value is getting differentiated based on your transaction key. So there is a transaction key called BSX, which is for stock. There is a transaction key called WRX, which is updating your value. So use this transaction key, BSX and WRX, when you are linking your valuation class with your transaction key BSX, you can have one GL account. When you're linking the same valuation class with your WRX transaction key, then you can have one more GL account. So one material can have one valuation class. One valuation class can have only one GL account. In case if you need multiple GL account for one valuation class, then you need to take a help of the transaction key. So transaction key will help you telling that what type of transaction are you doing. When you're doing one transaction of purchase, then this GL account should come for this material. When you're selling, you can have only one GL account for one material. So with the help of transaction key, you're telling whenever this key is coming into picture, then it should hit another GL account. Okay, so this is how we are going to link the GL account with our valuation class. Okay, any questions here?
Venkatesh, can you repeat once?
So did you understand this part?
Yes.
When you post a goods receipt, you get a material document and accounting document. When you get a material document, then your stock is getting updated. When your accounting document is getting generated, your value is getting updated, right? Till
Yes.
here it's clear?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So when I say stock is getting updated, let me take your a live scenario or a practical scenario. So you go to a market, you buy a material. So you want to divide your expenses into different account. So you have two bank accounts. You have one SBI and one HDFC bank account. So when you go to a market and you buy something, you want to differentiate your expenses based on different account. So first thing, you go to buy an electronic item. So you want to buy a mobile phone. You go to the electronic shop, you buy a mobile phone, you want to pay from SBI account. Okay. Then you go to some other spare parts, or you took your bike for a service. You need to buy spare parts. To buy your spare parts, you need to use HDFC account because you want to divide your expense into different account. In that case, what you will be doing is you will be opening your UPI app. You will scan your barcode. When you are buying an electronic item, you will select SBI and pay. When you are buying spare part for your bike, you will select HDFC and pay. So in your UPI transaction, you have two bank account linked. So every time when you are going and scanning a barcode, you have an option to select your bank account manually, right?
Yes.
Now, I don't want to do that in SAP. Whenever I am buying this particular, I need to tell system that if I am buying an electronic item, I should pay from SBI every time. Whenever I want to buy a spare part, I need to buy from this HDFC account. I don't want to select this manually every time. So how can we do this? We can do this using this automatic account determination. So how we are going to achieve this is, for all your electronic item, I am going to assign one valuation class, because I cannot assign directly a bank account to my material. There is no option to assign a bank account to my material directly. So as I mentioned initially, I am using this valuation class as a mediator, and I'm assigning this material to the valuation class. Okay. And I'm
Understood.
telling system that for this valuation class, I'm assigning a bank account. In my case, in SAP, it is GL account. Okay. For this valuation class, I'm assigning a bank account, and I'm taking this valuation class and putting in the material master. That means I'm telling indirectly system that whenever I purchase this material, whenever I purchase this particular material, in SAP, I have the material codes, all those things. So whenever I'm purchasing this specific material code, then that should hit my valuation class. It should go and search what is the bank account I have in the valuation class and get the money paid from this bank account. I don't want to enter bank account every time, or I don't want to tell system that from which account I need to pay. So that is the reason I'm using valuation class. Now, the question is, for one material, I said that we can have only one valuation class. So when I'm purchasing, now I have different case or different scenario. Take an example again. You have your UPI account. Okay. So you have two bank accounts in your UPI. Same example, you have SBI and HDFC. Whenever you're purchasing the electronic item, we said that we should pay from the SBI account, right? Think that you are a trader. You go to a big market, a wholesale market. You buy the electronic item, pay the money from your SBI account, and come. Take your load and come. And you come to your area and you start selling it from your shop. When you sell the material from your shop, you want the amount to be credited to your HDFC account, but not SBI account, because you want to differentiate your transaction. All buying should go from SBI, all selling should come to HDFC. Then what you will be doing in a practical scenario? When you go to a market, you'll scan the barcode through UPI, you select SBI account and pay it, right? When you are selling it in your local shop, what you will do, you will show the barcode which is related to the HDFC account to your customers, so that customers will scan HDFC account and pay to the HDFC account. When you are buying, the amount is getting debited from your SBI account. When you are selling, the amount is getting credited to your HDFC account. So is this manual?
Yes.
You're doing a manual activity here. When you're buying,
Yes.
when you are selling, you're asking him to scan this barcode. This is completely manual. So I don't want this to be manual in SAP system. I want this to be automated. So whenever I'm buying, I want one bank account. Whenever I'm selling, I want one bank account. Now here in this case, I said that whenever I buy the material, stock is coming to my hand. My stock is my inventory. Inventory will have some value, right? So whenever I'm posting a goods receipt, my stock is getting updated. That means my inventory is getting updated. My inventory will have some value. So the stock value. The stock value should go and fall under one GL account, and the payment which I'm doing to the vendor should go from one account. So this is my stock value account. This is my payment account. Here I am using only one valuation class. For one valuation class, I need to have two accounts. To do that, I'm using one more mediator, which is transaction key, which is going to tell which is stock account and which is the payment account. So I'm assigning this to my valuation class. So one valuation class, let me take this way. One material, I can have only one valuation class. From valuation class, I can have only one GL account, but I'm using a mediator transaction key and telling that I have BSX, I have WRX. This is my stock account. This is my payment account. So for this, I'll assign one GL account. For this, I'll assign one GL account. One material, for sure, one valuation class. One valuation class, I can have two GL accounts based on my transaction key. Okay, is it clear now?
Yes, yes.
So here we will be using multiple mediators, because when we are combining or when we are migrating, what is the word? When I'm integrating the MM and FI, I don't have the direct linkage to do. So I will be creating multiple mediators here to help me. Okay. Now I'll be using another mediator. So as of now, we use two mediators. One mediator is a valuation class to get the amount paid to the vendor accordingly. I use second mediator, which is transaction key, to assign multiple GL accounts to one valuation class. Now I'll be using another mediator. Any questions?
No, from my end, Venkatesh, you can continue.
Okay, so I'll be using one more mediator now to discuss regarding one more thing here, which is, let me take an example now. How are we going to get this evaluation class also automated? So I said that valuation class are assigned to material master. They are in the accounting one view. Now, how the system decides which valuation class should appear for your material master when you're creating a material. So it is not just a number. So when you go and create a material master or material, you can select the valuation class from the drop down. If you have guys observed, you're not entering the number there. You are selecting the valuation class from the drop down. Okay, so that's where your account category reference is coming into picture. This account category reference plays a very important role. So this account category reference is going to decide which valuation class to view in a particular material. So how are we going to do that? So this valuation category, sorry, account category reference is going to get assigned for your material type. So when you're creating a material type configuration, you would have seen this word called account category reference. Okay, so here you can assign one account category reference to one material type. Why are we going to assign this one account category reference to your one material type? So this is the way how we are going to determine the valuation class into your material master. So take that one account category reference can have multiple valuation classes. It can have multiple. So assume that you are creating an account category reference. Under one account category reference, you are going to assign multiple GL accounts, sorry, or multiple valuation classes. And you're taking that account category reference and assigning to your material type, so that all the valuation classes, what is under account category reference, will come into this material type. Again, we don't have any direct option to assign this valuation classes to your material type. So that is the reason we are using this account category reference as a mediator again. And I'm assigning this account category reference to my material type. Under account category reference, I'm going to have multiple GL accounts or multiple valuation classes. So this is the part of configuration. Okay, so now whenever you're creating a material, initially itself you're selecting the material type. What is the material type this material should have? So based on that, system is going to show you the valuation classes which are assigned in this account category reference, so that you can pick one of the valuation class from the list. Okay, now let me take a business case. There could be a case where the business says, I'm saying one-on-one. I need one-on-one mapping. That means when I'm using a raw material should have only one valuation class. Semi-finished goods will have only one valuation class, or spare parts will have only one valuation class. This is some business requirement. And some tell, whenever I'm using a raw material, I want to have multiple valuation classes. The reason, I have a raw material, I'm running an industry. So I have multiple types of raw material. For example, I have mechanical raw material, I have electronic raw material, I have electrical raw material. So when we discussed regarding the material types, business said that there is a raw material, but they did not mention that they have mechanical raw material, electronic raw material, electrical raw material. So at that point itself, when you're creating a material type or when we are deciding the material type, if we differentiate this material type differently, material raw material, electronic raw material as a material type, then it is going to be one-on-one mapping. If business wants to differentiate or categorize the material into raw material, and they don't want to categorize mechanical, electronic, electrical, but when they come for the accounting department, they want to pay different from different account for mechanical raw material, different account for electronic raw material, different account from electronic raw material. That can be achieved through this automatic account determination config. Is the requirement clear, or should I repeat it again? Business is having one raw material as a material type, but under the raw material, they have mechanical raw material, electronic raw material, electrical raw material. When they are buying these three different types of raw material, they wanted to pay from different GL account. So how can we achieve this using automatic account determination? So assume that we have raw material, which is ROH. I'm creating the materials using the raw material ROH. And when I am creating the material, I will select different valuation class. For this, I'll have one valuation class. For this, I'll have second valuation class. For this, I have third valuation class. I'm going to create three valuation class. Three valuation class I need to assign to this material type. How can I do that? Three valuation class I need to assign to this material type. How can I do that? The config is very simple, but the concept is a bit tricky. You need to understand the concept here. The question is, I need to assign three valuation classes to one material type. How can I do that? I explained you just now. As I just explained, using automatic accounting reference, we are going to assign multiple valuation class for one material type. Using account category reference, you can assign multiple valuation classes for your material type. If you don't
Understood.
speak up, then I cannot help you guys.
Understood.
And
Venkatesh.
don't come back and ask me, we do not understand this topic at this point of time. If you have the questions, you should ask in the same class, or you have 1 week of time to get this practice and ask your questions after 1 week. Next week, I'll be moving to the next topic. And this topic is linked with all the upcoming topics. So enterprise structure is getting linked till now. For all the topics, you need the enterprise structure. For all topics, you need the material master. If you don't know how to create a material, then how are you going to create this scenario in your system? If you don't know how to run a P2P cycle, then how are you going to run this scenario? So each and every scenario is dependent on the previous sections or sessions. So now the requirement from business is, let me take in this way. I have raw material ROH. Under this ROH, I have mechanical raw material, electrical raw material, and electronic raw material. I have these three types of raw material. So I want one valuation class for this. I need second valuation class for this. I need third valuation class for this. For each valuation class, I need different GL account. So this is a requirement. So how are we going to do the configuration? So material type is a scope of mm. Valuation class is a scope of mm. GL account is created by FI. and the assignment of GL account to valuation class is a scope of FI. Okay, as of now, there is no FI here. We are doing all the FI steps. So we'll start with the configuration of this. In the meanwhile, I log into system. If you guys have questions, let me know. I'll answer those questions and then create this system. You need to understand automatic account determination very well. You need to understand how the accounting entries are getting generated, how the valuation class is getting hitting your goods receipt or invoice receipt. Only then you will be able to understand the transaction. In the upcoming sessions, we will be discussing regarding the special procurement. In special procurement, most of the interview questions are related to your accounting entries. So they may directly ask you what is the accounting entry, which is coming into picture when you post an STU. When you're doing a subcontracting process, what is the accounting entries? Because if you understand the accounting entries, then you have understood the process. Okay, so I'm going to the configuration of SPRO. To do configuration, I should go for SPRO. Reference IMG. So here we have the material management, because this automatic account determination comes under material management. Anyhow, we call it as MMFI integration. Still, this configuration is completely placed in MM, but not under purchasing. We have it under valuation and account assignment. So I'll expand this. So here I have the automatic determination, account determination. So we will be working only on this part now. Expand this. So these are the steps. Normally we have without wizard and with wizard. Without wizard is nothing but it will give you just a basic account determination. A basic based on the company code, plans, and material types. But if I go with wizard will give me an flexibility to create everything myself. Okay. First is the valuation control. First question. As I mentioned here, we discussed regarding the valuation grouping code initially. So what is valuation grouping code? Valuation grouping code is going to decide when I'm buying the same material from different plants or different company code, should we pay from same account or different account? So as of now, I'm keeping it active. I'm telling I'll be paying it, but we have one more step where we can still activate it. So assume that some company codes need to be linked and some company code does not need to be linked. So what I need to do, I need to keep it as active, and I have one more level where I can maintain this. So here is the next, you have group together valuation areas. So this is the valuation grouping code section. So whenever you create a plant, this will get automatically created. You don't want to create this. So I mentioned that valuation grouping code is a combination of plant plus company code plus chart of accounts. So this is your plant. So wherever you see the valuation area is your plant. If you repeat it again, whenever you see a valuation area anywhere. For finance, they don't call it as, sorry, finance will call valuation area as a plant. They don't call plant as a plant. They call it as the valuation area. So this entry is going to get created automatically. And here, if you want to group, for example, take an example that you need to group two plants. I want to group this plant and this plant, which are related to the another company code. This for 100014, this 0024. So if you want to group this, and tell system that whenever I'm buying the material for these two company codes, I need to pay from single account. Then just maintain any entry here like this. If this valuation grouping code number is same, then you will be paying from single account. If you don't have anything, then you're paying from different account. That is the valuation grouping code. Okay.
Okay.
Let me go back. No. Then you have the valuation class. So to create a valuation class, first we are not going to create the valuation class. We should create the account category reference with the second mediator. So let me create a value account category reference. Let me take this as B15 and tell that raw material for B15. Save. Okay, I just created one account category reference to get this assigned to my material type. So let me do one thing. Let me go back. Let me don't create a valuation class. I'll directly assign this to my material type. So my material type is, let me take my material type. I don't know which material type we created on that day. So it should be with B15. Let me check which is used, or let me take the standard one then if I don't find.
So ZM45,
Sorry,
the material which was created,
I have created the material for FIRT. So you mean Z?
ZM45.
I don't see ZM45. Okay, ZM45. Okay, so ZM45. So for this ZM45, I need to assign my account category reference here. So I created B15. I'll assign this and save. So now I assigned my account category reference to my material type. Okay, when I assign my material type to my account category reference. So now if I try to create a material for ZM45, and select some industry sector, I'll just create a basic material, purchasing, general plant and accounting. So I'll put my plant. I'll just fill some basic information and directly go to the accounting view. In the accounting view, here I have the valuation class. If I select such, there are no values entered. Because when we used to use the other material type to create a material, in that case, we had this option. But now we don't have it. We don't have it because we have not created any valuation class. So now what I need to do, I'll go and create the valuation classes. So my request was, I need to have 3 valuation classes, one for mechanical raw material, electronic raw material, and electrical raw material. So for this, I'm going to give the name S999, S998, S997. Okay, I created this valuation classes. Now what I need to do, I need to group this valuation classes into one account category reference so that this will get reflected in my material master. So I'm going to give this as B15. So 3 valuation classes are going to fall under single account category reference. And this account category reference is assigned to my material type. Okay, now if I go and try to recreate the material, or if I try to refresh and search, I'll be able to see the valuation class coming in. So this is how you can create multiple valuation classes for a single material. But one material can have only one valuation class. But you will have a flexibility to select it. So if you're creating a material, if you're creating a mechanical raw material, then you can select mechanical raw material. Okay, now we saw how to create first mediator, which is valuation class. We created it. We saw the second mediator, which is the account category reference. We saw that. And account category reference got assigned to a material type, and valuation class got assigned to your account category reference, and that is getting reflected in your material master. So let me take this as a mechanical material, and let me move forward. Someone has freezed this out. Someone has freezed the standard R. I don't know why someone has freezed this. Let me do one thing. Let me go to material type and make this unfreezed, or maintain the value directly there. Z of 45. So for this, the price control should be standard, and save. I don't think so. This will get reflection now. Basic data, purchasing, general plan and accounting. Let me take steel as my description. Let me keep it as sheet or kg. Valuation class will be this. Price will be this. I'm going to save this. 8177. So 8177 is my material. So now, assume that I want to purchase this material. I'll purchase. Still now, we have not assigned any GL account to this valuation class. Without having a GL account into this valuation class, how system will behave? We'll see that part. Okay, I'm saving this purchase order. I'm going to do the GR. So I'm checking the quantity for AC 50. I'm posting it for my plant with my store location. Item OK. And check. When I check this, I'll get this error saying that system is not able to identify the GL account. You need to read this way. These are your list. So first is your chart of accounts. For chart of accounts 1984, the transaction key is your mediator, because system is searching from which account I need to pay the vendor. System does not have any payment ID in this transaction key. So system is asking in this transaction, okay, I don't have any payment. And for this plant, 1994, I have the valuation grouping code enabled. We want to see that. I go one step back. If I go to valuation grouping code and open my plant, I have my valuation grouping code active. So you have the valuation grouping code coming into your error, and you don't have account grouping code, and it is asking valuation class is S999. For this combination, there is no GL account assigned. So if you want to assign a GL account for this combination, you have two options. Go to this proceed. This will take you to this screen directly. Click on account assignment. Now you need to go to the error. System is telling that this is your transaction keys. These are your transaction keys. So what is your transaction key? It is WRX. Okay, going forward, you'll understand in this list what is transaction key, all those things. As of now, go through this list. So first is your chart of accounts, that is 1994. Second is your WRX, which is transaction key. So this will be in alphabetical order. Search where is transaction key WRX. It is here. Double click on this. Chart of accounts is 1994. Now see, here you have the valuation grouping code. As per the error, the valuation grouping code is XYZ. Okay, and you have the valuation class, which is S999. And now system is asking to which account, from which account you want to pay the vendor. So let me take the same account. I don't have an option to create a GL account because it takes a lot of time. So I'm putting this 2000. 2 series is the payment account. Remember, 2 series is the payment account. I'll see. Now this issue will get resolved. I'll close this. I had to go back from here itself because I came from that screen. Okay, closing this error. Now if I click on post, this WRX will get resolved. Now BSX will come. Let me try that. Check. Issue got resolved. I post, BSX will come. Because whenever you are purchasing the material, I said that one is a stock account, one is the value account. For value account, I gave the GL account. To which GL account, from which GL account I need to pay the vendor? Stock account. I need to assign one GL account from my stock account. So let me go here. Same, but now I need to search for BSX. BSX is here. Chart of accounts in 1994. XYZ is your valuation grouping code. S999 is your valuation class. I'm giving one series. In one series, the stock should get loaded. So in one series account, the stock will be plus. In 2 series account, the value will be minus. So I maintain the account also here. This is job of finance. We will not be doing it. Enter. Check now and post. I still have this error because we have the price difference account. So what is this price difference account? The meaning of this price difference account is this material. I go to accounting view. Where it is locked. Okay, and change. Let me go to the display mode. So why I'm getting a price difference? So this material is created with a standard price of 100. But when I'm placing a purchase order, I placed it for 9.5 rupees. So the material price in the material master and the price in the purchase order has a difference. So as per the purchase order, I'll be paying the vendor only 9.5 rupees. But when I'm taking the material into stock, the stock value will be 100 rupees. So 100 minus 9.5, it is 91.5. So 91.5 will fall under the profit account. In some cases, if I'm having a material master price of 100 and I'm buying it for 120 rupees, then that 20 rupees will fall under loss account. So if you're doing profit, then it will fall under profit. If you're doing loss, then it will fall under loss. So for profit and loss also, you need to give one account.
It's against the budget, right?
Sorry,
It's against the budget of specific material, like
not the
profit and loss
budget.
will be.
It is not the budget. It is how the valuation you're giving for the material. So you're telling system that this material price in my system is 100 rupees, but vendor is giving for 9.5 rupees. So if in my system it is 100, that doesn't make sense. I need to place a PO for 100 rupees. Vendor is giving for 9.5. So think that, assume that, I take a practical scenario, you need to buy a mobile phone. You will see the mobile price as 10,000 in one of the website, and you'll take 10,000 and go to a shop to buy it. When you're buying it, the person will tell it is just 9,000 in his shop. Then are you going to buy for 10,000 or are you going to keep your 1,000 rupees in your pocket? In the same way, for business, this material is costing 100 rupees for them, but this vendor is giving for 9.5 rupees. Then the remaining amount is profit. That profit will fall under different account. So he is going to store all his profit and loss in PRD account, which is price difference account. So here I had the valuation class and I don't have the account. So if you take any one of the account, I don't know that account is active or not. Let it post. Okay, it got posted. I'll display. So this is a 50 pieces which I purchased, and you have, this is called material document. You can see the name coming below the number, material document. If I place this, I'll see material document. Material document is in front end. Where can I see the accounting document? In the document info, you have FI documents. If I click on this, I will see the accounting documents here. Accounting document. I open this. Now you'll see three accounts. Per material price is 100 rupees. We purchased 50 pieces. When the stock is coming, the stock value is 5,000, because the price always will take from material master for stock value. This is very, very important question. This question is answered in a lot of the workshops. So when you are taking the stock into account, when you're doing a goods receipt and taking the stock into your warehouse, the stock value will always take from the material master. In material master, you have 100. You purchased 50 pieces, so the value is 5,000 getting added. You have plus. If you don't have anything, that is plus. The stock is getting added to the BSX account, BSX transaction key. In BSX, we maintain 1,000, one series. Okay. Now you need to pay the vendor, WRX. You need to pay the vendor. I'm using WRX to pay the vendor. I'm paying from 2,000 account. How much I'm paying? I'm just paying 475 rupees to the vendor, because the cost of the material which vendor is selling is 9.5 rupees. 9.5 into 50 is 475. I'll be just paying 475 to the vendor, but I'm getting 5,000 of stock. There is a difference here. There is a profit amount. This profit amount is going to fall under this PRD account to this account. This is a profit and loss account, and this amount is a profit amount. So this is how you need to read the system. You need to read the accounting entries. Okay, so this automation is done to which account they should fall, where this amount should go and debit, and where the amount should get credited. If there's a difference, how the amount should get adjusted. All those things is a part of automatic account determination. Any questions?
No, Venkatesh.
Uh, Hello,
Sorry, your voice is breaking.
sir. Am I audible now?
Yes, but still breaking.
Sir, can we change the valuation class again and again for this check some different valuations?
Once you create a material, unless you do any transaction, you can change the valuation class at any point of time. Once the transaction is done, once the stock is loaded, or once you purchase the material, you will not be able to change it again.
Okay, sir. Thank you. You mean once the GRN was created, we can't change. Before the GRN, we can
Yeah, you
change
can
it.
change. You can change because the
Okay.
stock is
For
loaded
PO,
in this. Sorry. In PO, you will not be having valuation class.
yes, yes. Thank you.
When you are placing a purchase order and doing a GR, the stock is getting loaded in this account. The payment is getting decided from this account. If you want to change a valuation class, then GL account will get changed. Then it is a huge task for finance to transfer all the stock value from this account to another account and then get the reassigned. Or you need to remove the stock from the system and delete the PO, change the valuation class, and then recreate the PO. And then it is a different task from scratch again. Okay. So now we have seen goods receipt part. Let me share my screen back. Now we have seen the goods receipt part. Now let us see the reverse part, which is goods issue. So we have seen how are we going to create the valuation class, GL account, everything. That will still remain same. But now we will be discussing while issuing the goods, how this is going to affect. So when I say issuing, mostly we will be covering the offsetting account. Offsetting accounts. That means other moments of material. When we do a goods issue, sorry, let me take this way. Whenever you're doing a goods receipt, you will be seeing the stock is getting increased and the value is getting decreased. The stock is getting increased and the value is getting decreased. This is the part of goods receipt. When you're doing goods issue, the stock will get negative and the value will get positive. The same example, here you are going to have wholesale market, buying the material, paying it, and getting to your store. Here, the customer comes, you're selling to the customer, the stock is negative, and your bank account will get added because the customer is paying you. So this is increase in quantity and this is decrease in quantity. Okay, there is nothing new in the configuration. You need to just understand how we are going to manage this goods issue. So complete goods issue part we will be seeing in the inventory management. But what I want to discuss here is I want to discuss regarding the offsetting accounts. So here I said whenever you are doing a goods receipt, the stock is getting loaded on the BSX and the value is getting subtracted on WRX. The same happens here. When you're doing goods issue, stock is getting negative from BSX and the value is getting added to your WRX. So reverse. Okay, now you need to understand two terminologies, which is debit and credit. I'll not use plus and minus anymore. I'll use these words. So can someone tell what is the meaning of debit and what is the meaning of credit? Can someone tell what is the meaning of debit and credit?
Debit means getting deducted from the account, and credit means getting the money into the account.
Okay, but in SAP it is reverse. Debit means plus coming in. Credit is minus going out. So in this case, the goods receipt, the stock is getting debited, the value is getting credited. In goods issue, the stock is getting credited and the value is getting debited. Okay. Now, before we go into the goods issue part, when we are discussing regarding goods receipt, we discuss regarding transaction key, we discuss regarding also the GL account. But here also we have two terminology, which is profit center and the cost center. Now, profit center is nothing but where all the profits are getting booked. So I showed you PRD account, the price difference account. So we thought that this material price is 100 rupees, but vendor sent us the material for 9.5 rupees. So the remaining all amount is a profit account. That profit amount will go and fund the profit center. Okay, then you have the cost center. Cost center is nothing but where you are going to book all your expenses. This cost center is mostly applicable for the consumables. What are the expenses you did? Those are getting booked in your system. So this profit center and cost center is a part of the CO consultant. So goods receipt is a part of FI consultant. Goods receipt is a part of, goods issue is a part of CO consultants. Okay. Now think that a company has a different multiple departments. You could have HR department, you could have IT department, procurement department, quality department. So each and every department will have their own expenses. They'll be having internal expenses. So for example, if I take HR department will be buying their stationery items, but they are not selling it. They are using those stationery items for the internal use. So those type of internally used materials are called as consumables. Okay, so procurement team might purchase the doors, furnitures to set up your office. So those are also expenses. So what business will do, for each and every department, they keep a dedicated cost center for each and every department. That is some business do. Some business, what they will do is they will give one cost center for each person. Okay, so what they do, they will ask purchasing team, I have a cost center. In my cost center, I have an amount. Cost center is also an account, a bank account. Okay. So they will tell that in my cost center, I have some amount. I need to buy this particular material for my own use. Take an example that you have an earned points. If you're working in some company, okay, if you have done some achievement, they will provide you the vouchers. That is also your cost center. So you go and tell that I have a voucher. I need to get this material. The first question what purchasing team will ask you is, this material is in stock or not? If this material is in stock, then give your voucher. I'll put the voucher in my goods issue screen and issue you the goods. If you don't have the stock in the warehouse, then create a purchase requisition with the voucher number and give the purchase requisition. I'll convert that to purchase order and get the material from supplier and give you the material. Okay, so this is how the goods issue works. So this type of transactions are called offsetting account. So if you're directly giving the inventory to the customers, then that is called as sale. If you are using the stock for your own purpose, for internal use, then that is called as the offsetting account. So the scenarios what might occur in the offsetting account is, if you're issuing the goods for cost center, then there is an offsetting account. If you're issuing the goods for asset, then there is also an offsetting account. If you're issuing a goods for projects network, if you're scrapping the account. So all these are called as offsetting movements. If you're only selling the material to the customer, then that is an original sale. If you are not selling the material to the customer, you are using for different purpose, which are listed here, then those are called as offsetting account. So how are we going to differentiate that this is a sale material, this is an offsetting account, this is an offsetting entry? That is based on the movement type. Normally, when you do a goods receipt, the goods receipt movement type is 101. So I'll discuss completely regarding the movement types in inventory management. So as of now, just understand the basic. When you're doing goods receipt, the movement type is 101. When you're issuing the goods, there are a lot of movement types. For cost center, it is 201. For asset, it is 241. For network, I don't remember. For scrapping, it is 551. So whenever you are doing a goods issue, the person should tell where I am issuing the goods. Based on that, the warehouse person will enter the movement type and issue the goods. So all these are called as cost objects. So that is the reason we are posting for the cost center. Okay. Now let me take an example. Let me take a business scenario when you're doing a goods issue. Why we are calling this as an offsetting account? So let me take an example of scrapping. When I'm doing scrapping here, we could scrap the material for different reasons. So in this case, what happens when you're scrapping, the stock is getting negative. Stock is getting negative. Negative means debited. And the value is getting, sorry, it is created. It is debited. So when you are scrapping, the stock is getting negative and the value is getting debited, which is positive. In this case, you are reducing the stock, but you need a reason why you are reducing the stock. Because it is scrapping. You are scrapping the material. But from where the value should get added? The value should get added from your cost center. For scrapping, you will have a dedicated cost center. So you will put that cost center and map those. Normally, when you're doing a goods receipt or selling the stock, you have BS6. and WRX. But here for offsetting account, you will not have WRX. You will have GBB. Wherever the transaction key GBB is coming, so those are your offsetting account. This is where you enter your transaction. Okay, so this GBB is the transaction key for offsetting account. Any questions? Just simple thing. When you're doing a goods receipt, that is your normal purchase, you will have BSX, WRX. When you're selling the material to the customer, you are getting money. So still you will have BSX, WRX, but in the opposite way. Now you're doing offsetting account. When you're buying, you will buy through BSX, WRX, that is common. But when you're consuming the stock for an offsetting account, you will not get the money. So that is the reason we are considering this as an offsetting account, because we are using internally. So we have a transaction key called GBP. Okay. Any questions? I'll take an example of business example and create the system in that way, so you'll understand more. Okay, if no questions, let me take an example. So think that I purchased this material. This is a purchase, right? I purchased this material. Now, an employee wants this material. So what he will do, he'll ask to issue the goods. If I go to MMBE and see, I'll have the stock of this material. So what employee will go to MMBE, put this material and see, he will understand this steel is in this plant. So what employee will tell? Employee will tell that I'll give my voucher or I'll give my cost center where I have money. I want some of the stock for my own use. The employee has flexibility to buy it internally. Okay, so what he will do, he will ask you, as this for this in stock, he will directly ask you to provide an goods issue slip. You will have a goods issue slip in your warehouse. So the person in the warehouse will ask you to fill that slip and give. So after you fill that slip, the person will go to the Vigo transaction and select the goods issue. He has the moment type 201. 201 is the moment type which is used for goods risk, goods issue against cost center. So he'll select this, put the material, what material you want to issue, how much quantity, I'll issue only 10 pieces, where I'm going to issue from this plant, from this store location. Okay, and the main thing is you need to provide the cost center number here. Each and every person will have a cost center. If you guys are running this goods issue for cost center, let me know. I'll provide the cost center to you guys. I'll create the cost center for you. So cost center is created by finance. Okay, so I have my cost center here, which will start from this. Okay, and let's check everything's fine. I have my money in the cost center. I'll post. When I'm posting, I'm getting this error. Initially, I got an error of BSX. I got an error of WRX, but now I'm getting an error of GBP because this entry is an offsetting account. If I again go to the transaction OBYC and maintain the GL account there, this error will get resolved. Okay, now we have a new terminology called here account grouping code, which is new BBR. Initially, this was blank. When we was doing goods receipt, it was blank. Now, when I'm doing a goods issue, it is active. You can keep this active, you can keep this deactive based on the business requirement. If your business requirement is just to do a scrapping for one account, then you can do it. Now, if your business requirement is a different case, if you want to do scrapping to two accounts, in that case, how are we going to deal? Or you have a requirement that scrapping and the cost center should happen in the same manner. So let me take an example, you'll understand better. Let me resolve this error later on. Let me take the business case. So we all said that for cost center, the moment type is 201. For scrapping, it is 551. When I do cost center, when I do a goods issue for cost center, when I do a goods issue for scrapping, I'll get the same transaction key, which is BSX for stock and GBP for offsetting account. Now we also seen the OPYC rules saying that whenever I have one GL account, when I have one GL account, I can have only one valuation class. So let me take this material M1. This material M1 is having a valuation class of S999. I can have only one valuation class. And I want to do cost center and scrapping for this. When I'm doing these two transactions, I want different GL account. Is that possible? I am just issuing here. I have only BSX and GBP. If I take a combination, so what is a combination? Valuation grouping code, okay, and valuation class, and a GL account. So my valuation grouping code is XYZ. My valuation class is S999. And I can give GL account only one, which is, let's take this. Okay, if I do cost center, if I do scrapping, only this account will come. If I try to enter another account, XYZ, S999, 10000, system will throw an error saying that you already have an account, you already have a line entered. Let me show that. If I try to enter the same line and give different account, so system will throw an error. You already have an, let me go to GBP. Okay, so I have an entry. Let me change this. Okay, let me resolve this error first. I have an error here. So GBP XYZ general modifier. Okay, I did not check this. XYZ, yes, 999. And I'm giving this account, for example, and I'm saving it. Okay. And if I go here and see, this error would have been resolved. I issued the goods. If I go to display mode, I go to FI entries, I can see stock BSX got reduced of 1000 rupees and GBP got increased, which is offsetting account got increased, which is 2000. Now I have a requirement. I need to scrap the material. Let me keep this as it is open. Let me take a screenshot of this. I issued the goods for cost center. Okay, this is for cost center. I have a screenshot of cost center. Now let me scrap. For scrapping also I need to use goods issue. I need to use the moment type 551. 551 is for scrapping. Same material. I'm scrapping 10 pieces. From this plant, from this toy location. I still need to give the cost center. Check. Post. It got posted. Now I'll display. FI documents. Now if you see, still I have the account, same account. 1 series and 2 series. If I go here, if I compare this and this, okay, I would have taken this screenshot, just smaller. Okay, let me take this way and show. Okay, you can see here, the entries are exactly the same. VSX, VSX, GBB, GBB. The amount is getting debited or subtracted from this account. The same is happening here. Amount is getting added, same. So same entries, everything is happening for both cost center and scrapping. So my business requirement is, whenever I'm doing a cost center entry, I need this account. Whenever I'm doing an scrapping entry, I want this account to be changed. I want this account to be different. So how can we do that? For that, we have an option called account modifier. And this account modifier is going to control the transaction based on the movement type. The only difference I can see here is, here also I'm issuing the goods, here also I'm issuing the goods. Same material, same material. Same transaction, same transaction. But only difference is, here I'm issuing the goods based on scrapping. Here I'm issuing the goods based on cost center. That is only the difference. So here, this is for cost center, this is for scrapping. That is only the difference. So we need to play this transaction with the movement types. So if you want to differentiate based on the movement type, the only option you have is the account modifier. So what is the account modifier? So this account modifier is going to differentiate your, let me show one more thing also here. Now we have this entry. Now think that I'll enter again XYZ, same valuation class, but different account here. If I click enter, and if I save, okay, system is taking this, but system is not understanding for which movement type, which account to take. Right? So we need to differentiate that. To differentiate that, we have an option called account modifier. So if we go to config /n SPRO reference IMG, the material management, valuation, account determination. Here you have an option called define account grouping for movement types. You can differentiate the account based on the movement types. So what is the movement type we are using? We are using movement type of 201. So for 201, we have from here till here. So we need to decide for which movement type and which combination we need to activate. Always we need to select the quantity and value update. If we don't select the quantity and value update, those are non-stock item or non-value item. So I'll uncheck all the things which are not related to the quantity and value update. Both should be active. Okay, so these are the quantity and value update. And second column, you have the special procurement. These are the special stocks. This consignment, this pipeline. So I'll remove the consignment and pipeline. We are left with two accounts now. One is GBB, one is the price difference account. For GBB, we have VBR. Okay. So now go to VYC, change the rules, activate the general modification, and save. When you are activating or when you are activating this or when you're changing the rules, all the entries in this table will get deleted. Keep this in mind. Okay. Now I'm giving XYZ. General modifier is this. This general modifier, VBR. So take this VBR and put it over here. Put your valuation class and put your account. whenever you do a cost center transaction, this account will come. And whenever whenever you're doing the scrapping, if you need this account, then go for the movement type 551. In 551, you have quantity and value is these two. You have V and G. Take this V and G and put it over here. Okay, now let us do the same transaction again in the goods issue. I'm going to goods issue. First, I'll run 551. Same material, same quantity, from same place. Posting it. Display. Counting. Okay, I'm taking a screenshot of this. Okay, and I'll do another goods issue for the cost center. Goods issue. Now I'm going with 201 movement type. Material. Same quantity to make it very clear. Plant. Cost center. Post. GVXYZ BBR. This account does not have the entry. So I have the BBR entry. So let me check it again. GBP. GBP. Okay, it is X by X. I made a mistake. So X by Z, it should be XYZ. BBR. Saving it. I'll display it. Accounting entries. So if I open this, initially we had both the same accounts. Now I have the different account here, here and here. When I'm doing a goods issue for cost center, it is 2 lakhs. When I'm doing a goods issue for scrapping, it is 2 lakh 1. So this can be achieved by using the account modifier. So this is how you need to differentiate your offsetting account. So most of the business cases are falling under this. So whenever you're doing a goods issue, you can also play with the different GL account with the different movement types. Okay. Any questions here? So this is integrated with finance. You need to practice a bit on this to get familiar with what are the GL accounts, what are the cost centers, what are the profit centers, all those things. You need to practice more on this. Okay. Any questions?
Venkatesh, in real life projects, this will be done by MM consultant or FM consultants?
Valuation class, creation of valuation class, account category reference, assigning that to the material type. Everything will be done by MM people. The only thing what finance will do is finance will be maintaining the entries in this table. In this table, where is the table? In this table. So they are the persons who is going to assign the valuation class against the GL account. This is the only work they do. They create the valuation class. Valuation class is created by us, MM people.
Okay.
The work what FI do is FI will create the GL account and do the mapping of this.
Oh. And today, level 2 class will be at 7 or 4, Venkatesh?
It is at 7.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions? Okay. If no questions, practice more on this topic because this is very important topic, which is first topic, which is getting integrated with finance. And all the topics which we will be discussing going forward will get integrated with each and every module. Okay. Right. Then we'll meet today at 7 o'clock for the level 2 topic. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.